So with our calls at the Big Leap Bridge, we find that learning works best when we bring our curiosity, our openness, and our appreciation of ourselves and others. So we invite you into this commitment for this call. And tonight I'd like to welcome our beautiful facilitator, Nicole. Nicole, I just want to express how I experience you as a full expression of alignment in your genius of facilitation with grace and with eloquence and a true mastery to really bring the fullness of your generosity and your heartfelt experience as a gift to others that are able to receive you. So thank you for your mastery and your gift that you're willing to share with us tonight. So I'm going to hand the call over to Nicole now. Thank you so much.
Ooh, thank you, Deb. I had to wiggle and let that in. I was like, so thank you so much for that really kind appreciation. And thank you to all of you for taking the time out of your day to join us for an hour of just building a sense of appreciation. And I'm seeing that appreciation both inside of us and in the vast space in between us, kind of knitting us all together for this next hour. So I thought maybe we could start with let's start with a sound to help us locate ourselves here and now. I know I had a bunch of technical difficulties before I got on the call, so I feel myself kind of a little bit scattered. It'd be really great if we could begin with a sound, and that will help me too, just to get super present so we can create this time together. So Michelle, if you can unmute us, and guys, just let her rip. Hey, thank you so much. Michelle, you can remute. Thank you so much for indulging that. I feel here now and with you. And I felt this sensation of kind of like being out here and slowly coming back in. So I want you to take a moment to just notice how you feel in this moment. I'm so excited to talk with you today about appreciation. It's one of my favorite topics. It's one way that I know to get grounded in myself is to come into a space of appreciation. And, you know, I think the topic of this time together was appreciation as a fuel. And we were really thinking about it in terms of these COVID times. It's a very interesting time. I remember somebody saying, may you live in interesting times. And indeed we are. So appreciation can really be a way for us to find, to locate ourselves as we navigate all of the different changes and experiences that we're having as a result of this thing that we call COVID. So I would love it if we could breathe together. I think breath is a really beautiful gateway to appreciations. When I noticed that my breath, like when I first got on the call, because my ear pods weren't working, my breath was kind of high and up into my chest because I got a little bit nervous and I was feeling not appreciative towards Zoom or Apple. But then just to take a couple of breaths and to know that it's all okay. You guys are with me, I'm with you, and we'll come out of that on the other side. So the breath is really the support for being able to have the mental space to shift attention to that appreciative awareness. So let's come into in your seat. And that might look like if you're sitting in a chair, letting your feet rest on the earth and getting a little bit perched on the chair so your back is not against the chair, so you have some room to move. If you're on the ground, that's fine too. Just make yourself comfortable and maybe place something underneath your seat so that your hips can be slightly raised. And if you're standing, as our friend Christina is, that's great too. Good. So to begin, I would love us to come into a centering breath. And to do that, I'd like you to take your hands and squeeze them together and then release. Squeeze your hands together and then release. And just do that a couple more times so you can get the sensation. Maybe you let the hand squeeze move up to the arms so you can feel the sensation of tension. And in feeling the sensation of tension, you'll be able to feel the sensation of release when you let it go. So squeeze your hands, squeeze your arms. Good. And then let go. And now let that squeezing motion come a little bit to your abdomen. So it's not a tight squeeze, but as you exhale, squeeze the hands and let your navel come towards your spine. And as you inhale, let go of the belly, let go of the hands. Your eyes can be open, or you might want your gaze to be soft or eyes closed. So you can really turn your attention inward. Exhale, let the hands squeeze and let the navel draw toward the spine. Inhale, release the hands, release the belly. Good. And you can let the hands drop, but keep breathing in this way so that as you exhale, you feel the navel draw toward the back of your body. Inhalation. Allow the belly to release as you take in breath. And just do that a couple of more times, beginning to breathe diaphragmatically. Let the inhalation fill you. And let the exhalation empty you. When we breathe high and up into the chest and in a shallow way, that activates the sympathetic nervous system. And that might help us to feel kind of revved, keeping us in a state of fear. And so when we breathe intentionally down into the belly, that gives us access to the parasympathetic nervous system, helping us to rest and digest. So keep breathing like fill and exhale, empty. Good. Wonderful. And so just notice how you feel. I find that the breath is such a gateway to be able to enter a space of appreciation. And I thought, oh, wow, let's define appreciation, because lots of times we talk about gratitude. And when you think about gratitude, it's like, oh, I'm grateful for, right? So it's almost like you and this other thing or this other person. Whereas appreciation, as I learned from Katie Hendricks, is to give your sensitive awareness to something. So sensitive awareness feels bigger to me than almost like a transactional, oh, I'm grateful for that. It's actually like a complete mindset, sensitive awareness. So I want to invite you to take a moment and look around at all the wonderful people and see if you would be willing to give your sensitive awareness to the folks that you see. And keep breathing while you do that. So sometimes the breath can drop out. It's like, I'm seeing and being seen. So if that happened for you, that's okay. Just give a little bit of a wiggle and then move back to your breath as you give your sensitive awareness to the folks on the call. Good. So sensitive awareness is something that is available to us always. I was taking a walk today, and I was taking a walk to kind of relieve a little bit of stress from work. So I was kind of like walking a little bit with maybe a stomp just to move the energy. And I saw a deer off not that far, but in the woods to my left. And it like stopped me in my tracks to see the deer. And the deer was giving his or her sensitive awareness to me. It was fully frozen and just like eyes locked. And then I was giving my sensitive awareness to the deer. And it must have been 2 minutes before I was like, all right, this is weird. I can't just keep staring at this deer. And I let it drop. But I just wondered about, had I been space of being focused on what happened at work, would I have had that moment when the deer gave me its sensitive awareness, it triggered my own. So I feel like there's this relationship that happens, that when we give our sensitive awareness to something, that is a way to create something or someone, that is a way to create connection. And for us also to feel like we're moving into this really beautiful mindset. But then there's also this feeling of when someone gives their sense of awareness to us, it evokes something else in us. Did you notice that as you were looking around at everyone? Did you feel any awareness of like something shifting in you? Yeah, so I think I'm always looking for ways to kind of merge that spiritual thought of oneness with lived experience. And I think appreciation for me is a real gateway to having a lived experience of that, of how we impact each other just by choosing to have a gaze of appreciation. So breath is one of the first gateways. The second gateway that I like to use for appreciation is wonder. My stepmom, Althea, is on this call, and she knows I have a little bit of a, maybe not so little bit of a know-it-all in me. And so wonder is a really good gateway for me personally to get out of that one in me that thinks I know and have all of the answers to everything, to the sense of curiosity. And curiosity and wonder allow that space of appreciation to come up, right? Because if you think you know, then it can just be kind of binary, you know or you don't. But when you use wonder as a gateway, it's like, I wonder how I can approach this with a sense of appreciation and gratitude. So why don't you try that one on for yourself? Think of something that's happening in your life right now. Could be personal, could be very macro, like, oh, COVID, or things that are happening in the news. Just take a moment and ask yourself, I wonder how I can approach this with wonder and with gratitude. And keep breathing while you do that. I noticed when I said that out loud, I felt a deep inhale and my shoulders just kind of melted down. So just the question sometimes can be a shift. Here's another wonder question that you can use to come into a sense of appreciation. Super simple. What in my life can I appreciate right now? And here's a third one. How can I give my loving, sensitive awareness to this? And this could be anything. It could be a person. It could be an issue, a potential, an idea. Good. I wonder if anyone has any questions about the first two gateways, breath and wonder, as gateways to appreciation. Questions or comments?
I am Janet, and Nicole, I'm so appreciating the quality of your voice. It's clear and present, just a flavor of play in there and love. And I'm happy to be with you, happy to ponder these questions. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy you're here. Okay, well, oh, Yancy.
Sometimes I notice if I'm kind of overwhelmed with my grumpy persona, I'll just get like deep into it and just exaggerate criticisms for a few minutes to then create the opening for appreciation to flow more authentically.
Oh, I like that. So going more into a different energy creates the space. Yeah, I love that.
Especially if I notice that that's where I'm at. Like, just be like, oh, it was such a dull, dim day today. Like, I feel so lethargic and blah. And then it's more playful. And after kind of like stomping around and exaggerating my grumpy, and I feel the opening is more authentically present rather than what can often happen is just trying to jump right to the appreciation. Sometimes it feels like an override and it's not as authentic. And like I'm forcing it, and then my critic gets a little like, wait, are you being authentic right now? So there's it creates that opening.
Yeah, I really appreciate you bringing that up. I think sharing your experience in that way and just reminding us all that this is not, I've heard this expression like lipstick on a pig, even though I think pigs are cute, but this is not lipstick on a pig, right? So you're not trying to take something that is, you're not trying to pretend, basically. You're not putting something pretty over something that isn't. This is about really letting that wellspring of appreciation come from within. So I loved two things that you said. One is going deeper into how you currently feel can create that opening. That's wonderful. And the other was, there was an element of movement to what you just did as well. And so I love that too. That movement can be a way to create space, both for space for getting more located in, okay, this is how I feel right now, but then also space from where the shift can arise from that space. So thank you. Yeah, good. Speaking of movement, I want to walk. So I'm going to take my computer. Oh, Yancy.
It looked like Althea had a comment or question.
Oh, Althea, yes. Sorry, I missed you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So when you mentioned wonder, that came up for me was that wonder invokes like a sense of innocence. So from a place of being a child and being able to look at something in a different perspective from a place of wonder, there's a lot of possibilities that can exist. And so it takes the perspective of the ego out of it to something that is much more sensitive and grounded and innocent.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Oh, I love that you said that. Innocence has really been on my mind lately. And I completely agree that wonder can bring up, evoke that sense of innocence, the lived experience of it too. I was thinking the other day of innocence as a birthright that we sometimes, for different life circumstances, forget about, but we each come into the world with that. And I had to feel buzzy in a good way, that wonder is such a good gateway to touch that place in us that remembers we are innocent. Thank you. Yeah. Lindsay, did you have your hand up or were you just moving? Okay. All right, cool. So I was thinking we could take a walk. I love this thing called putting on your beauty glasses. So, it's like, okay, let's do a really quick experiment that will show us how to put on the beauty glasses. So take a moment and cross your arms, make a face, stink face, hold your breath for a couple seconds, and look around. How do people look? Blech, yuck. Shake it off when you're ready. Good. So I had this experience once. I went to a sweat lodge and I was running late. I was super embarrassed that I was late. And so I kind of arrived like with my shoulders up and like not breathing really well. And everyone looked, I felt like they were totally judging me for being like the late person to the sweat lodge. Like, who's the late person in the sweat lodge? I am. So I was like, oh man, this is terrible. So I just kind of like, okay, I ran in the bathroom to change my clothes. And when I changed my clothes, I just like took a minute to come into my breath. And when I came back, same people, same place, and they looked totally different to me because I wasn't coming to them from that place, right? Like I took a pause, I took a breath, I changed my clothes, and they didn't change, something in me changed. So there's this experience of both the breath and the posture as having a really big impact on whether appreciation is available to us or not. And so when the idea of taking a walk with your beauty glasses on is basically letting your movement and your breath support your gaze in being full of wonder, curiosity, and flavored by appreciation. Do you want to try it? Okay, so I don't know. I'm on my laptop, not my phone today, but I'll just take my laptop around. So if you guys have a laptop or a phone, let's just do it. And we'll just take, and also if you don't want to carry your computer, that's totally fine too. My watch says 7:26. Let's be back at 7:30. So I really want you to walk around. If you can leave your house, that's fine too. But just let yourself walk around. And what you're doing when you're walking around is breathing. So make sure you don't accidentally start holding your breath. And then just letting your gaze go where it goes, but allow the gaze to be with sensitive awareness. Okay? All right, cool. And notice your pace as you're walking. I noticed when I first stood up, I was kind of rushing. Like, oh, okay, I got to do this beauty glasses exercise. I was walking really quickly. So see what your initial pace is, and then let yourself come to a pace that feels pleasurable to you. And keep breathing. And if you kind of lose that sense of appreciative awareness, let yourself use a light to allow wonder to come back in. And when you're ready, you can start to make your way back to wherever you'd like to be. You can also keep walking if you like it. Good. So I'm so curious about what you noticed. I noticed I was looking at the house in a new way. Like I'm up in the Poconos. I'm in the mountains right now. I'm not really leaving the house that much except to take walks. So I've been looking at these walls a lot. And I just felt a sense of like, wow, I'm so happy to have a home where I feel safe and where there are a lot of windows so I can take in the trees and the light and the deer. And I felt a new wave of appreciation for a place that I've been for 3 weeks. So I think that's one thing appreciation can do is it can help us see things anew. Does anyone else have anything different that they noticed? Yeah, Rod.
Yeah, I just burst out laughing because when I was going to get up and walk, I had reading glasses on. I thought, oh, I have to switch to my progressive. So I actually took off one set of glasses and put on my beauty glasses. I realized every time I change my glasses, which I do many times a day, I can say, oh, I'll put on my beauty glasses.
Yes.
Available all the time, nonstop. So that was very sweet.
That's awesome. I do hope you think of that.
Yeah, I shall. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, Alice, I saw you next.
Yeah, I'm here in Seattle, and I haven't been out of this area. I'm staying in a long stay place right now, and I hadn't been upstairs and out into the garden at all. And this exercise has actually given me the opportunity to get away from my desk, and just have the guts to walk around with my laptop for a moment. And what I discovered was just beautiful. There were 20 bees in these flowers. There was a little chime bell in the tree, and the sun is shining, and the rhododendrons are blooming. And I'm just going, gosh, there's so much going on 20 feet away from me. And I didn't clue into that. I was just clued into my screen time and working and doing my thing. So I'm really appreciating this exercise. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so happy that you had that experience. That's great. I hope you can, I wonder if you could put that on your schedule.
I think I'm definitely going to.
Awesome. Susan Scott, I saw your name next. Can you, still muted?
Unmute. Can
Okay.
you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you now. Thank you.
Yes.
November 8th, 2018, we lost our house in a fire along with 13,971 other families in Paradise. And we've been renting, and we just bought a house. And I was looking out the window out one way, and there's a huge camellia bush in bloom. And I looked out another window, and there's roses and there's rhododendrons. And I appreciate the person who had carefully, thoughtfully put all of this lovely vegetation around to have and to enjoy. Plus our cat is very interested in being a part of this. And so I just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much, Susan. I really appreciate you for sharing what you were able to see. And I love how you traced the appreciation not only to what you saw, but to the person who did the work. That's really wonderful. And I'm sorry that you lost your home. That's really sad. So just
guess what? I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Stephen, yes.
Hello.
Hi.
When I was walking around, I started looking out my window without really thinking about it too much. And there's several oak trees in our front yard that, and I'm on the second floor. So I was kind of looking down at the top of the oak, or at least some of the oak trees. And we've had some rain recently, and everything was just so clean and shiny, deep green color from spring rains and stuff. And it was just like there was a new level of appreciation available. And yeah, just appreciating the simple beauty of just being in nature. And it reminds me of something that happened just a week or so ago. I was helping mark some trees to get mulched, and some of them were kind of big, and I was having to put this plastic tape around them. And all of a sudden I realized I'm hugging a tree. so anyway, trees speak to me. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And the tree was hugging back too, it felt like.
They do. No one talks about it. They totally hug back.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love that you had a new layer of appreciation for nature. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I appreciate you for opening up to that. Do you ever, I'm stuck on the tree thing, one more second and then I'll get to the questions. I love to put my back against a tree. Is there something about the spine being against the tree? My dad taught me that. There's really something special about your back being against it too. Do you ever do that?
I have, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Nice.
Tree hugger is almost a derogatory term in Texas, but hey, whatever you enjoy, go for it.
Exactly. Okay, I saw a few other hands. Deb, I saw, and then Lindsay, and then Linda, and then Meg.
Firstly, Nicole, thanks for that invitation for the tree. I'm imagining sort of a bear move, you know, like into it, and then so I'm going to nickname that my Nicole move. My Nicole bear. So what I noticed on my beauty glasses walk was when I'm breathing and when I've got my beauty glasses on, my attention was able to widen into more spaciousness and take up more space peripherally around me. I noticed that as I was walking around in that space of noticing even more, and I went out onto my balcony and there were these bits or chunks of food all on the floor. And I noticed me shift and kind of go, oh, and the critical, like, who did that? You know, like, what's that on the floor? So just noticing how quickly my critical mindset or my critical voice can come up, and then just reframing that and going, beauty glasses on, oh, I have these beautiful children in my life. And there's evidence of that, you know? And there's this horrible din going on in the background because there's a truck doing some work and it's resonating at this thuddy kind of horrible noise in the background. And that was really kind of grating on my energy. And when I shifted into that, oh, I have these beautiful children, my capacity to be with that noise kind of expanded, and everything, the resistance and the kind of evened out, and I felt like I could include that way easier without the grating that was going on. So just the magic of what appreciation can actually invite into my experience. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I love that point about appreciation. Sometimes I've told myself I'm having the wrong experience. And so I love the idea of appreciation as a gateway to being with what is and how it is right now. Yummy. Lindsay, I saw your hand next.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I'm also really appreciating the tone of your voice. It feels like within me just really soothing, very loving, and a little bit mischievous, which is also like one of my delight in Nicole for sure. I have been in the process of getting my home on the market. Today, actually went on the market this morning. And so my practice over the last couple of days has been legitimately to look for any speck of dust before the photographer was going to be here, right? Like the little tiny individual thing. And so as I was putting on my appreciation glasses and like walking, or as I put on my appreciation glasses, I took those mofos off like real quick. Like there is dust on top of that, like the and sign behind me. I got to get like, someone's going to be here tomorrow at 11. And so like for me, it was consistent recommitment process where I was dawning on me, my recommitment to appreciation opens the window with the and my wonder. And all of a sudden I walked into my bedroom and I can appreciate the spaciousness in there and the in a totally new light, in a totally new way, because it doesn't look like my house right now. So that like shift of context, but also shift in commitment and recommitment to like, oh yeah, like look at how beautiful my yoga bag looks sitting there. And like the gold is glinting off the sun. And so for me, the resonance of like recommitment to, oh, like I'm right here. And there might be dust on the ampersand sign behind me. It's going to be okay. But recommitment to the other.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that. And I love your bringing into the space recommitting. I found that to be super useful too, of, you know, you may come into a space of wonder and giving your sensitive attention to something, and then something happens and that viewfinder goes whoosh. And so when you see that, rather than getting stuck in a loop of, oh no, my glasses fell off, it can just be like, oh yeah, okay, time to recommit. And then it widens again.
Yeah. And something that I found especially impactful a minute ago, but I lost my train of thought, was awesome. Whatever it was, I hope everybody else gets a taste of that awesome, because it was delicious. Yeah, that's what I got. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Lindsay. Linda, I think I saw your hand next.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm in my playroom, my so-called playroom, and I got very emotional. I could feel myself tearing up because I have things here that take me from birth to now. And I got to, instead of going way out, my focus kept coming in like this, and I kept focusing on some pictures, or I would focus on my baby shoes, and then I would focus on a picture of me when I was 3, and then I would focus on things that I've created recently, and my dad's glasses, pictures of my family. And I just felt like the luckiest person in the world. I mean, I've had such, I saw like my whole life, and it just felt so, I don't know. It was really a beautiful new way of looking at my room and my life, really. Yeah. So thank you very much. really sweet.
Thank you. I love that you looked at your life and felt that wave of flow. That's inspiring to me.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. I thought I saw Meg, but is she? Oh yeah, there you are.
Hey.
Hey.
So I'm feeling a little bit teary after hearing Susan and Linda. And my experience, I'm here in my home office and I have a big picture window with a garden outside. And when I think about when I first started the appreciation and put my beauty glasses on, my attention went to, you know, the beautiful flowers outside. And then I walked around and just kind of, my office is kind of messy. There's like stacks of papers on the floor. There's sticky notes. There's like a bunch of like Hendrix squeezy hearts. You know, so there's like stuff around, and I was actually appreciating myself because I would see this as like a problem. Like I have not cleaned up my office, and you know, there's just stuff. And what I was been putting on my, seeing it through the lens of appreciation, I was like, gosh, I've got a lot of great stuff going on right now. You know, all those sticky notes have ideas on them. You know, I saw like the bag of magic markers and you know, the papers and that, and I was like, oh, I am like creating. And that just felt, when I looked at it from that, and actually taking my attention from the outside, like, oh, there's the beauty, to the inside and to my own creativity, that just felt very nourishing.
I like that you said it was nourishing. Yeah, I like that. And I really appreciate the outside to inside and that pulsation. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd love to move on to ritual as a gateway to appreciation. And when I think of ritual, I'm talking really simple ritual, like how can we seed appreciation into the day? So one way that I love to do that is to, and Patricia's not on the call anymore, but one time Patricia and I were hosting this yoga retreat in Cabo, and we were rooming together, and it was a long day and it was time to go to bed. And I was like, all right, girl, good night. And she was like, no, what do you mean good night? We have to do appreciations. And I was like, what? And every night before we went to sleep, she would appreciate herself and then appreciate me. And then it was my turn to appreciate myself and then appreciate her for what we had created with the participants that day. And it's something that really just stuck with me of like, wow, you know, if you think of the mind as being something that gets colored by what we put on it, to put appreciation into the mind before sleep is so like delightful. So that is one ritual that I would offer to you, to make some space before you rest your head, to bring some appreciation. Turn your sensitive awareness to yourself, the people around you, your community, your space, and let that bring you into your nighttime. So that's one way. Another way that I love is in the morning. Mind is clear in the morning, can be clearer in the morning, or at least that's my experience. So waking up in the morning, I've had this ritual of before my feet hit the earth, just giving a few quiet appreciations in my mind so that I'm seeding the day with that. So to either bookend the day, to put it into your mental space before you sleep, or to put it into your mental space before you move out into your world, can be really useful. And I think it also helps with that point that Yancy brought up about being authentic in the appreciation. You know, I think the past couple of months have been moments of up and moments of down, you know? And so it's not like appreciation is, I feel like crap and I'm telling myself everything's great. some mornings when the day hasn't, you know, if I'm in a little bit of a hard period, the appreciation might be that I woke up and that I'm here. It couldn't be that simple, you know. Sometimes the appreciation can be, I think I heard Gay Hendricks say once about how you win the lottery when you're born. Think of all of the sperm that were trying to make it and, you know, into that egg. And the result of somebody making it is you. That's a lot of little people in there that were trying to become people, you know? So think about that. I sometimes evoke that in my own heart when it's just like, oh man, I'm going through a hard time. That idea of like, no, like you were the one who was able to receive this birth and to become this being. And so what are you going to do with that? So those are some ways that I just wanted to say you can bring ritual in as a way to make this a part of your daily. So it's not just something, I think just like with any muscle you want to build, it's about having it become a part of your life, not just something that you use every once in a while, you pick it up off of the shelf. So tying it to your morning, your evening, or an activity, you know, can take your beauty glasses walk during the middle of the day when you want to get your body moving a little bit if you've been sitting down for too long. So being able to tie it to a daily activity can really be a support for staying present and vibrant as a practice in your life. Michael.
As you were saying that, one of the things that I have enjoyed where I live now is taking a really slow moving walk. And that allows me to be aware of things that I don't normally see when I'm walking like that. And the ritual, when I remember, and it did actually happen yesterday. These days I'm finding if I go to a store, I generally have to line up, that I don't get in right away. And yesterday, there I was in this lineup. And so I began to basically notice and appreciate the cloud formations in the sky, because it happened to be the thing with that. And it was like, wow, it became an amazing time rather than an irritation. Plus, those clouds were there all the time and I wasn't seeing them at all. And they were so beautiful. Anyway, so those would be my two little rituals.
I love that. I love the idea of doing away with the concept of waiting, you know, and just really being present and seeing what emerges, and to be able to see the beauty in the sky that had been there, but now it was revealed to you. That's really cool. Thank you. Rod.
Yeah, it reminds me strongly of my wife has just written a book called Yoga While You Wait. And it's about mindfulness, and it's about doing yoga in unusual places. And the subtitle is Finding Purpose in Each Pointless Pause. And just the idea of that's available to you if you have the right glasses on. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So we have a couple of more minutes, and I wondered if folks had paper and pen somewhere near, and if not, if you could get some. Great. So one wonderful way to come into that sense of being willing to give your appreciative awareness to something or someone, I love to use journaling for that. It's another way to build a practice. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but I really love getting things done. Like that feels really good to me. And then I can just get in this cycle of like, I'm doing it and doing it and doing it. I never stop to celebrate or pause. Even though I wrote a book called A Joyful Pause, so that's kind of ironic, but it's something that I work on, is to be able to make that just a way to go about life instead of something that I only do when I get burnt out or. And so journaling appreciation can be a way to just remind yourself to see these things. And there's something about the act of writing with your hand that can really give you a deeper experience of it. So I'd love to give you a couple of prompts and just take a little bit of the last, some space and some breath to appreciate in your journal. I wonder if you'd be willing to write an appreciation for a quality that you have, a quality that you see as part of your essence, something that makes you truly you, that if that way of showing up went away, you wouldn't be you anymore. What is some aspect of your essence that you appreciate? And if you find resistance coming up, I would invite you to change your posture and to notice how you're breathing. Now take a moment to appreciate a way that you listen. Take a moment to appreciate how you contribute to your community. And notice your level of aliveness as you write your appreciations. Take a moment to appreciate how you play. And take a moment to appreciate how you love. Appreciate something about your body. Appreciate something about your mind. And appreciate something about your heart. Good. Notice how you feel. Do you feel more aliveness as you come into that space of appreciation? That's where I'm coming from with the title of appreciation as fuel. There are so many ways to fuel ourselves. There's really habitual ways to fuel ourselves, like with fear and like with adrenaline, like with judgment. And those are there because they're reliable and probably learned that. And at the same time, for us to keep growing and expanding and loving and weaving and connecting, I think a new fuel can really be of service to us, and appreciation can be that fuel. Appreciation for yourself, appreciation for others, appreciation for how it is and how it could be, and then that space in between. And I think that ability to build sensitive awareness can give us the creativity for the solutions in the places where we don't feel appreciative because So I hope that by spending some time using breath as a gateway, using wonder as a gateway, talking about ritual as a gateway to appreciation, using your beauty glasses as a way to kind of physically feel the sensation of being willing to be appreciative, and then also journaling. I hope that of all of those ways, if even one of those ways worked for you and really felt like it was something that you could bring into your life, I hope that you would do that. So, oh, it's 8 o'clock. Oops, I ran out of time, but if anybody has any questions, I forgot the clock.
Hey, Nicole, I was just having the thought just to let everyone know that we'll be on Facebook, the Facebook group right afterwards. I'm not sure if you can join us on there, and you might be able to answer some questions on there. So I popped that link into the chat for the Facebook group. It's the Big Leap Bridge community page group, I should say, sorry. And the passcode is love. And it's okay if you want to just if there's any last quick comments or questions. You're getting a lot of claps and
kisses and claps.
Well,
everybody, oh, go ahead.
Janet, I have a comment to make. You know, you asked about how we felt at the end of the appreciation journaling, and I felt really serene and soothed. So I didn't feel charged or revved or activated, but it's so valuable just the same in allowing what fuels me to not be undermined or derailed, right? To be soothed. Yeah, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Wonderful. And if you wanted to reach Nicole, I'm putting a link in the chat there. And so thank you so much, Nicole, for beautiful, beautiful invitation to spend an hour appreciating. And I'm really appreciating you. So yeah, let's have everybody unmute and say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You
were wonderful. Take care.
Bye.
Thank
Great
you.
to see you, Nicole, and everybody.
Yeah, good to see you, Meg.
Bye,
Thank
Sue.
you.
Bye, Janet.
Michael.
Bye, Althea.
Good to see you, everyone. It was fun.